Okay, so how to solve equations with just one variable. So the technique is called isolation. So isolation in math means get it alone, aka move everything away from it. Okay, so I'm going to start to move everything away from the x. So on this example, I'm going to add 49 because I'm trying to get rid of everything. Okay, now, this is tricky. This is something you're going to have to think about. I want you to think about what could square to get 49? 7? It's partially right. Or negative 7. Does that make sense? Does 7 square to get you 49? Does that work? Yep. Does negative 7 also square to get you 49? Yep. Okay, so it's going to be important to remember that symbol because once you leave out that symbol, you're omitting an answer. Okay, number 2, to get this alone, I'm going to subtract 81. So m squared equals negative 81. Okay, now you kind of had this idea before, right? What's squared to give you 49, or in other words, kind of thinking about the square root. So what's going to go on here? What could square to get me negative 81? Does 9 square to get me negative 81? No. What about negative 9? Does that work? Negative 9 times negative 9? No. So what's happening with this idea? What happens when you square root a negative number? For instance, if I even tried it on my calculator, what do you think it would do? It will say error. Okay, so here, there's going to be no solution. Okay, do you understand the concept? 9 squared is 81. Negative 9 squared is also positive 81. Okay, you cannot square anything to ever give you a negative number. Okay, so square rooting a negative will never ever work. This is kind of the idea. So this is how you answer those questions though. You need to write that there's just no solution. Okay, number 3, to get this alone, I'm going to add 22. Okay, so this one's going to work, right? Because it's positive. And this is not just a nice number, right? Like 49, I knew it was 7. So I'm going to square root it. What's the first idea I'm going to write here before I even know what number it is? I'm going to write plus or minus. And you know what? If your number is not pretty, so if it doesn't come to a nice exact number, that doesn't stop, we're going to leave it. Okay? Because I don't need to write a number if it's going to be a decimal that doesn't quit. Okay, number 4. What am I going to get rid of algebraically first? So you have to think about your order there. Actually, I have to get rid of something before the 3. The 2. So I'm going to add 2. So this work here is important to make sure we're doing it in the right order. So this whole thing right now is glued together. So I got rid of that. Okay, so that's done. Now which one should I get rid of? I think now the 3 would go, right? So I'm going to times by 3 to get rid of the divide by 3. Okay, now I'll do the 5, right? Is that the one you picked? And then I'm going to divide by 2. Now I'm going to square root. And then don't forget, it could be a positive or a negative that will work. And I think this one comes to a nice number, so I can write it. Okay, so are we going to be okay with understanding the order? So this is kind of like big mass going backwards. Okay, so like I start here, I do anything adding, subtracting, and then multiply, divide, and then did you see I did my exponents last actually? Okay, so that is isolation.